All right, in this tutorial, we are going to be creating a pop-out sphere, which is an op art or optical illusion art design. And we're going to start off with some materials, a white piece of paper that is 9 by 9 inches square, a pencil that's a harder graphite, so HB #2 pencil, or I'm using a B pencil. I like to use this right angle tool, but it's not strictly necessary. You could also work with just the ruler. We will definitely need a ruler to make measurements, an eraser, and a compass to create our circle. So let's get started by measuring the paper to find the midpoint. So 1/2 of 9 is 4.5. So I'm going to make some markings at 4.5 inches, and I'm going to do that on both sides so that I can find the center. And this line will stay in our design, so it's not something we're going to have to erase. You can just kind of, once you color in with colored pencil, you won't see the pencil line. So I would recommend drawing nice and light with your graphite because you will change it with your colored pencil. And then we're going to do the exact same thing and find 4.5 inches. And 4.5 inches again. And then line this up. And if you line this up with the bottom edge, that's the thing about these right angle tools, you should get a perfectly straight vertical line. So that's what I like them for, because not every measurement is perfect. Like I was a little off on that one. So that helps. Then we're going to go ahead and create our circle that will become our sphere when we create the illusion. So we're going to use a compass. I'm going to line my pencil up with the 8-inch marker, and then I'm just going to test that this is correct. So I'm just going to make a little mark here, and then it's easy for me to just turn my paper to kind of make another little mark there. And then we'll just measure this to see if it's really 8 inches. So it's pretty close. It's like a, small percentage off, but that's okay. I think that's close enough. As long as it's pretty close to 8 inches, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And I'm gonna draw my pretty much 8-inch circle. So now I have a circle here, and I need to create the grid in the back. So I'm going to divide my 4.5-inch segments into halves. So I'm going to go to 2.25 inches. So I'm going to make a mark there, and one at the bottom at 2.25, 2.25, and the quarters are these smaller segments here. So I'm just going to go 2 inches and then one of these small segments and make a mark. And I need to do this for these sections and also for these, so you can go this way and find that same spot. Okay. And over here. And then you're just gonna make these lines, but you don't want to draw across the sphere, because we're gonna create curved lines across the sphere, because we want to give the illusion that it's actually 3 dimensions and not flat. So that's the whole point. So I'm gonna line this up with the bottom edge, and you can see how good my measuring was, or not good. Actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna go here on the edge of the sphere. I'm not gonna intersect it and cross that sphere edge line. I'm just gonna stop right at the marker. Okay, so I'm just going to carry that line right there, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So it's easier for me to just rotate it, it's more comfortable, so I'm just going to do that and line that up. Okay, looks pretty good. And then if there's any, like not all my lines were perfect when I measured, so if there's any like little funny bits, you can change that. Now what we want to do is create the curved lines. This is probably the trickiest part. That's why I kind of like to do it at the end. So I'm going to follow these curves along the sphere. So I like to just eyeball it. You could do measurements. We might as well try that. Let's try that. So I'm going to do like 1 1/4 inches here, and or 1 3/4 inches, or maybe 1 1/2. 1 3/4 inch. So my arc is going to start at this bottom piece, and it's going to, this where all the lines converge, and it's going to arc through that line and come back. Right? And I can make that more solid, just sliding my hand across the paper. And then what I can do is kind of smooth that out. And then my next one's going to start here and end here. So I think I'm just going to, instead of measuring, I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. So just done too many lines already. So I want to make sure it's kind of staying the same thickness, kind of like a band. So I'm just going to imagine that I'm striving to keep this band the same thickness. Okay, there we go. And this looks kind of shaky, so let's just kind of smooth that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side, and it's kind of nice to measure, so let's just try that. So 1 3/4, that's where that first line is going to go to. Okay, and then the next one, we could even see how far it went from the edge. It's about a little less than an inch. So yeah, I can just do a little less than an inch. It'll probably be somewhere around there. I've got to connect these two lines. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other sides. So if I want everything to be equal, I can just keep doing that measuring idea. 1 1/4, or 1 3/4 and 1 3/4, and it's the same process across the sphere. Okay, it's a lot smoother than the first line I drew. So you can always go through and edit the line, make it look more smooth. And when you go to color it in, that's when you really can like focus on each section and smooth out that line. Okay, and then same thing here. Just gonna focus on it being about the same thickness. I want my arc to be nice and rounded. It's starting to get a little pointy, so fix that line. Okay. Same thing with this one. Okay, so that should be good. Now I'm going to continue to color it in. I think it helps to do a darker color with a lighter color and to choose a color relationship. Like this one's analogous because it's red and orange next to each other and it's warm tones. You can also, if you just have 2 colored pencils, that's fine, but you can create even more of illusion if you grab a 3rd or even 4th color. So this is like the light orange, and then I also added a little bit of dark orange to the edges to make it really look like it's popping out. So I'm gonna go ahead and color this, and you can see that process a little bit. So I think it helps to kind of outline it first and then color it in. And then I would color this one in red, and that means the one next to it would be orange, red, orange. And so you really have to pay attention. That's why I like this project. It does promote focus and kind of intentionality and presence and being aware, because it is a little bit of a mind bender, but it also can allow you to get into that kind of flow state because you're going to be coloring. So I hope you enjoy this process, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.